Hello, my name is C, and today I'm unboxing for you from DiamondArtClub. These are two of my favorite artists, so of course I had to pick these pieces up, so we're going to take a peek at them. We will do a full unboxing of Ocean Eyes by Marco Morales, and then I will do a shorter look. We will briefly look at the diamonds, and then I will take a peek at the canvas for Fishing Stars. So let's jump right on in. Okay, so right on the front of the box we have our rendering at the top. If we'll look at that artwork there, I believe that's also the rendering. I think so. We have the name of the kit, the artist, and the size. So Ocean Eyes by Marco Morales is 55.6 by 73.8 centimeters. All the pink branding means that it's a round. Same with that symbol on the front. We have a look at all of our colors on the side, that artwork again. And then on the back we have how it works, kit contents, and all of our warnings. At the very bottom of the kit, we have all that information again in case you store your boxes stacked up. Do I have to rescue a kitten? Hold on. What are you doing, my little love? Do you want to come help? What is this? This is my roomie. Alright, honey, let's take a look at this kit. No. Sorry, you don't have the cats in here, but she's all alone. Okay. Oh, what's all this new stuff, honey? Oh, big stretch. In here we have our toolkit. So, I don't know where she's wandering to. Alright, in here we have a bag of baggies. You can cap into these, use these for storage, any extras, whatever you wish. Usually you'll need a bit more than this, but it's a good starting point. Don't you dare! Okay. We also have DiamondArtClub's new Twist and Pick pen. So this is loaded with their putty wax. It's like something in between wax and putty, in my opinion. It works really well. You twist this, it comes out the end. You can reload it as needed. Then we also have a spot for the 4-placer or 7-placer at the end there. We have our branded tray. It comes with a lid and stopper. More of that wax putty mix in here. Your usual pink wax and that 7-placer. So it's a nice toolkit. Comes with everything you would need to get started. Alright, so we have our kit here and our thank you for your purchase. So in here it says thank you for purchase right on the top there. It includes any sort of tip and tricks, how to use the Twist and Pick applicator, step-by-step instructions, a QR code for the app. You get 20% off your first purchase there. The Facebook group, a great place to see people working on kits or ask questions and just general, what is happening? Sorry. And then you have your kit contents at the bottom. The other kitten was starting to make noise, so Rumi wanted to go join him. Alright, we have our trading quest cards. These are just fun collectibles and a secondary reward system that DiamondArtClub has. There's 4 tiers, bronze, silver, gold, and black. Bronze being the most common, black being the rarest. This one is a bronze card. You can redeem these for different levels or different amounts of gift cards, or collect enough and you can redeem them for a custom, which is what I'm aiming for. And then in here we also have our sticker sheets. So all of this is a sticker. It includes the name of the kit, the artist, start and end dates, a full look at that artwork there, and all of our information. So it has 96 colors, it's round, and then our size again. This is just gorgeous. Those colors are so fun. And in here, oh man, lots of pretty colors. We have 180 and 3 fairy dusts. I will explain those once we get into our kit and take a look at them. Sorry, that was really rude. Starting at the top here. Okay, that's unusual. Usually Margaret Morales kits is just pure confetti, but there is some good chunks of color blocking in this background. And of course, like, the rest of it, like the main part of this image is all confetti. Oh, but that's not bad at all, and she's so pretty. Oh, okay, hold on. DiamondArtClub kits are actually self-flattening, so you don't have to do this. I'm just doing it to speed along the process. But there is the full image. Let me see if I can zoom out just a touch more. Yeah, and you can see that full thing in frame here. Oh, this is gorgeous. These like creams and yellows are going to be very pretty against these blues and greens. Oh, this is going to be a fun one to work on. Okay, I'm going to zoom us back in for a second. And we're going to take a peek at this canvas. So at the top here, we have Do What Makes You Sparkle, DiamondArtClub. We have a legend on the top left and bottom right. And all the way at the bottom here, we have a thumbnail, that image, that same information, the SKU, the name of the kit, the artist, the size. And this also has copyright information. So DiamondArtClub legally licenses all of their kits. It just means that the artist has given permission and is being fairly compensated for the use of their artwork. We have a discount code in the center here. I also have one in the description down below if you choose to use it. But just use the discount code. There's one somewhere that will work. We have DiamondArtClub socials there, and then the lifetime warranty. So if you spill something, you're missing, you run out, DiamondArtClub's got you covered if you are the original purchaser of the kit. Okay. These kits also come with the perforated cover, so these gray lines is just where the cover is pre-cut and easily breaks off into sections. I don't use it, but I know a lot of people really enjoy having that cover there. One last thing we should take a peek at. So earlier I mentioned that usually Margaret Morales kits has a lot of color blocking versus confetti. So briefly, I wanted to talk about how all of this being the same symbol is a good idea of what color blocking is. So you have one color for a larger section compared to something like in here where you have a whole bunch of colors in a smaller section, which would be confetti. So that is something I want to touch on. Oh, her eyes are going to be so pretty. Oh, I'm so excited for this kit. Okay, for just a moment, I'm going to zoom just out a little bit and show you the diamonds. So these have the QR code, the SKU, and the name of the kit right on the front. So if you separate things, you can easily match it up, and that's what I do. So here are all of our colors. Again, beautiful color palette. Okay. I typically do not read out the DMC, but I will pause when we get to any fun colors I really like or our specials. So anyways, lots of blues and greens. I've been recently working on some of DiamondArtClub round kits, and I've noticed that some of their newer run kits, and I believe this one's included, 992, I love that color, that the drill field or the grid has been tightened up a bit, so it's a lot easier to multi-place. Yeah, and it's been really nice to work with. And in general, the rounds are pretty sparkly and end up, ooh, 958, looking really nice. Yeah. Lots of blues and creams. And, this this one's going to be so much fun to work on. With 96 colors, of course, there's going to be a ton of these little bags with low color counts. But I want to pause for a second. Here's our first AB. First, one and only AB 3756. This is, okay, Aurora Borealis diamonds. So they have this iridescent coating that shines like the northern lights. So you'll see a lot of purples, greens, those blues reflected in there. They're very pretty and really draw your eye to certain areas. This one's like a minty off-white. Very pretty. And then we get into our first fairy dust, Z562. So this nice green fairy dust just means it has like this mica powder brushed on the top. You can kind of see that gentle shimmer there. They offer a nice little highlighting color. They're not as noticeable as ABs, but they're still very, very pretty. They might be my favorite kind of special. All right. Ooh. Sorry, 3808, very pretty color too. There's our second fairy dust. This won't be very hard to see, but it's 3866. It's kind of like, it's almost white. I guess like an unbleached white would be the best description. Very pretty color. Yeah, tons of little handful colors. 563, very pretty. But as to be expected with a higher color count. 991, also very pretty. There is still one more strand after this one. But yeah. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump it. Oh yeah, these ones are going to be very, very few diamonds of each of these colors. Just going off how many's in the bag, Diamondart Club includes extras. I believe at one point it was like 15 to 20% more. There's our final fairy dust, Z900. A nice reddy brown, I guess. I don't know what the current number is or if that's still accurate, but I do know that they include extras. Ooh, that's a pretty red 817. Okay. I will deal with those later. So we're going to start at the top and work our way down. We are looking for that little funky post, the W arrow, and the dots for those specials. So let's get started. I have a feeling there won't be a whole lot of them because it was such a small, they were really small bags. So that off-white, that like unbleached white that I said is doing some highlighting in her hair here. Yeah, that's about it there. That green is in the center of her hair piece here, in the shadows here, and within her eyes. We also have a few of those, like that brownie orange highlighting in her makeup there. Well, makeup, I don't know if that's makeup or just the style, but it's around her eyes and also in her lips. A couple more right in that little piece there. It's not jewelry, it just kind of looks like a sparkle. We have more of those W's at the base of the hair piece there. Oh, that AB is actually sprinkled around her eyes here, and there's a couple within her eyes. Some more of it sprinkled over here. A good patch, well, a good patch. There's a small patch of that AB there. Smaller amount sprinkled up here. Is there that W? No. More of that AB over here. And then, again, they were really low count, so I don't think there's too much. That green fairy dust is a circle around here. More of that AB sprinkled within these specks here. And that seems to be, oh, never mind, I lied. There's some more of those W's over here, more over in the greens here. And then there's some more of the ABs. Where was it? There's just a few sprinkled down in here again. Oh, and then some more of that fairy dust, that off-white down in here. Something I might add personally, I don't know if I would do it as AB, but I would do this white along the crest of the water here as some sort of special. But that would be about the only thing I would add or change. Maybe a fairy dust for the scales on her arm there. But yeah, other than that, I think this is rendered beautifully, and the specials will add such a nice touch. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this one up and grab the next one. Alright, the next one I have is Fishing Stars by DiamondArt, 55.8 by a whopping 111.5 centimeters. This one is a square, so blue branding. This is massive. Holy, I didn't realize that. I just bought it because it said Yume. Alright, toolkit garbage. Whoop. In here we have a bronze. Always with the bronze. Okay. Did I? Okay, no, I didn't. Okay. There is, look at that full artwork. 75 colors. Again, it is a square piece. Yeah, these greens and blues are just so happy colors. 1 EB, 5 fairy dusts. Alright, let's crack this open. Ooh, starting at the top. Okay. This is all confetti right through the center here, but then all of this is color blocking. And it is 310. But that's fine. Oh, that's such a nice pop of color against that darker background. Oh, this is going to be gorgeous. Look at all these greens and blues. This thing's too big for my desk. But that's fine. And there is the very, very bottom. Okay. I'm going to pause here for a second. I'm going to put up a picture of this completely. Somehow I'm going to take a picture, probably me standing on my bed again. But I'll make sure there's something for the full artwork to be on screen. This is gorgeous. I could totally see this being a kit that I work on sideways. Usually I have it like facing properly, but I could see doing this bottom half sideways because there's a good chance for line blocking and really getting through a lot of these colors. But we shall see. Well, the bottom looks more color blocking. But yeah, I will say, even though I said that like this center part of the sky here is a lot of confetti, in here there's a lot of chances like line blocking, so you have good patches of the same color. The bottom is really color blocking heavy. The boat and our girl here is a little more confetti heavy, but still very manageable. Oh, this is so, so pretty. Okay, I think I've rambled enough. 310. That's actually okay. I really like DiamondArtClub's newer squares, so it'll work up just fine. But look at those greens. Oh, this is such a happy color palette. Oh, okay. I am not actually opening this up. Yume Art is one of my rainy day artists, so I tend to hoard her kits and save them for special days. So I actually won't be working on this anytime soon, and I do not want to open this up and mess up the pretty packaging. It makes it a lot harder for storage. So I will say though, I'm sure, like, I'm late to the game in opening this one up. I'm sure there is several other unboxings where others go into the full color spread, but I did see we have a nice bag of that white AB right at the front here. So that is one of our fairy dust colors right there too. And that's about all I can see. But yes, I would say if you really want a full look at this whole spread, definitely check out some other unboxings. Okay, but I will still set this upright and point out where the specials go. So we have that white AB. We have that pale teal as our first fairy dust, a yellow, a green, an orangey brown, reddy brown, sorry, and then a blue for our fairy dust. So first up, I can see that the yellow fairy dust and that reddy brown is all sprinkled throughout the sky here. Then we have, moving down a little bit, her shirt is that white AB. This line, like all these bright whites in the line, is that AB. The center of these stars here is that yellow fairy dust. The brightest green that you see through here is our green fairy dust, followed by some of that yellow. And surprisingly, oh, I thought there would have been some of the blue there. First up, I'm going to pause here for a second and just say this would be really fun to add some pink fairy dusts or ABs into this greenery there. That's something I probably will do. Then we get down into here, so there's some of that blue sprinkled in back here, some more sprinkled back there, more of that green fairy dust right in here, and of course that brightest white that you see throughout all of here is that AB. The center of all of these like stars and constellations is yellow fairy dust. We have some really good patches of that blue fairy dust, so it's like all in here. This is a good patch of that blue. This is a good patch of the blue. There's more of it over here. So tons of that blue fairy dust. Do we have... There should be a green, and I would assume it's up here, but maybe it's further down. Ah, that green fairy dust is sprinkled, the greeny teal fairy dust is sprinkled in there. I want to move it down. We also get a couple more of that. I think the cover's right across the symbols, but I think that's some more of that ruddy brown one there, fairy dust. Yeah, more of that white AB. The yellows are there. The reddy brown oranges in here. More of that teal here and in here. More of the white. I don't see any more of the blue. There's a good patch of that tealy aqua fairy dust there. A good patch of it here. Of course, the white is all still that AB. The yellow is still the fairy dust. More of that teal in here, all in here. A good patch of it down here. Some more over on the side here. And I think that's it. Of course, yeah, again, bright whites is the AB, followed by the yellow within all of these stars. That might also be fun to change to some sort of special. What color are you? 746, so like a peachy. That might be fun to change to a fairy dust as well. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one here. Let me know your thoughts on these two. Have you worked on them? Did you like them? Hold on, let me finish. Okay. Would you add any extra specials? I think I'm gonna put some pinks in here. But anyways, okay, I'm gonna leave this one here. thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!